This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. So here in 2024, we have some interesting developments. I saw an article being shared on Twitter and it kind of surprised me a bit. I saw that attention was being brought back to Timesplitters, and oddly enough, it was because the game was outselling a brand new big budget game. So according to UK sales, Timesplitters 2 and Future Perfect managed to outsell the new FPS from Sony called Concord. This is a really interesting development. Here you have a game that is coming from one of the biggest companies, a brand new exclusive, and it would seem that people were not really interested in playing it, but rather trying to boot up an over 2-decade-old game. And even without playing Concord, I can say that Timesplitters is probably more worth your time than that. So according to this article, Concord ranked at 261st digitally, with Timesplitters 2 coming in 218th. And Future Perfect coming in 229th. While none of the Timesplitters games were in the top 100, or even bigger like in the top 10, but the fact that two of the entries ranked and ranked higher than a brand new Sony game is something that is pretty impressive. Even crazier, we see Concord now officially shut down. It was, from what I understand, an always online game, and now Sony has shut it down, and you can no longer play the game. Honestly, this brings up an interesting thing where Timesplitters shows that based on how you build your game, if it is good and has an audience, even if small, the game can essentially live on forever. If you were one of the few that played Concord and enjoyed it, it is probably frustrating to see this. Whereas if you have a game built like, say, some of the Timesplitters games, that magic, that awesome minute-to-minute gameplay lives on forever. Yeah, you can't play the games online, but you can actually completely play the game. Campaign, co-op, arcade mode, and all of the multiplayer is still accessible to players to dive into at any point. Plus, the inclusion of those wonderful bots means that you can always have a full match and retain and always have that fun. I think there is a series of reasons as to why Concord failed. Yes, it had some of the progressive nonsense that was part of its design. There is a vocal group that is sick of seeing this stuff in gaming, and I would agree with them. But I think the game had other issues that probably hurt it as well. As another good channel put it for this game, you have a paid hero shooter, where there are a lot of free ones on the market, and good ones at that. If you're going to have that upfront cost, you really need to bring it. I'm going to link his video in the comments for all of you to check out. He brings up some really good points. So now we pivot back to Timesplitters. What does this mean for all of us? For the fans of this great series? Well, I think if anything, it shows that there is still interest out there for these games. 2 out of the 3 apparently ranked, and again beat out a huge new game. And the odd thing is too, is that by having a media outlet take the time to write and have an article about this happening, can really help to bring attention back to Timesplitters. It was probably written because anything Concord was a bit of a hot topic then, so they were probably trying to cash in on that as well. And you know what? I don't blame them for that. But by getting eyes on the article because of the situation of Concord, this can also get eyes back on Timesplitters for sure. I am sure that there are still many gamers who have no idea or have not even played any of the Timesplitters games, and something like this could really pique their interest for those players. Maybe they read the article and they decide to try out 1 or 2 of the Timesplitters games mentioned. Maybe they buy it, play it, and start to become fans themselves because of the magic these games still have. More eyes on Timesplitters could mean more sales. More sales could mean that THQ and Embracer Group start getting the idea to maybe try and do a proper remaster set for these titles. The momentum needs to keep going. Yeah, people who want Timesplitters are more of a niche in size, but I would argue if you can get more eyes on the series, letting anyone from any platform be able to play it, we could have an even bigger resurgence for this series. Now sure, I don't want to underplay it at all that I am very happy to see these games back in some capacity. The games play very, very well through the PlayStation emulation. We now have a better means to play too, because what was found on the Xbox family of consoles got kind of messed up with its emulation, so to really try to be able to play that properly didn't really work out so well there. But thankfully Future Perfect can still be played there and it's really good. But as I enjoy and fall in love with this series again, playing all of these games, I keep thinking that it's a huge disservice to not do a remastered collection set. Even on some of my videos I see people asking if you can find these games on Steam. There is a way to play them on PC, but to have a more official channel and option would be a really nice touch. But this also gets me thinking again too. There's people that want this on the PC side of things. I think it would be within the publisher's best interest to then bring them there. We get so many and probably too many remakes and remasters, but a nice simple remastered set that keeps the games relatively unchanged with improved resolution, better frame rate options, and even online play. That would honestly be all you would need, maybe even adding in the ability to play the campaigns online as well. Or it would be really cool to allow for PC mods too. In today's climate with the modern AAA writing, and with how they do humor or really just don't understand it, I really don't want to see a big studio trying to make a new Timesplitters game. Yeah, for sure, I'd love to see a new game. I am still mad that we never got the Timesplitters 4 back on the PS3, but if a new game was made, it would need to be made by the original crew. They get it and they love it. I think part of this is that those developers were always trying to punch above their weight class. They worked with what they had to provide the player with as much as they could. That creativity, humor, and fun. I just think a lot of what makes Timesplitters is a lightning in a bottle type of thing. And if you had a group try to make something official, I just don't know how that would work. I wouldn't want a game trying to be Timesplitters, but rather one that actually was it, especially if it was taking on the legacy of the name and these games. Now, having said all that, this always gives me hope that that Timesplitters Rewind game, whenever it ends up being released, will hopefully end up being something special. Here you have a game made by the fans for the fans. You have people with the talent and love for the property, trying to find a way to make it available to everyone on PC. It's like this small passion project that keeps chugging along, and those content updates are like little moments of Christmas. I always love seeing how they are progressing on it. I think as far as a new Timesplitters game is concerned, that fan project is probably the best thing to look forward to. What also would be nice is if we see other indie developers get inspired by this great series, and then want to make something original and highly influenced by these games. That could be something great as well. While I'd love to see the series have the budget of a big AAA game, I don't want it to have all of the baggage that would come with it. We have been very grateful to have this series not be stained by any modern writing or bad designs, and as a big fan, I would like it to stay that way. So yeah, when I saw the article floating around Twitter, I felt compelled to talk about it here, along with it being a good excuse to discuss this series I hold near and dear to me. Honestly, I think Concord is going to go down more for its financial failure than anything related to the game itself, whereas we see Timesplitters sort of having more and more reasons for people to come back to it, and seeing that there is a group of gamers that did come back for these games, and for the re-releases on the PlayStation Network. Maybe in some way we need more games like Timesplitters, and maybe we need more big developers to take some of their resources and put them into smaller projects, like reviving something like this, or something else that could use more attention as well. Now sure, I'm very biased for Timesplitters, but here you have a game that represents a lot of some of the very best that this industry has to offer. And it wasn't the only one, but it is one that continues to stand tall. Also, check out that channel I mentioned in this video. Link will be in the comments. What are your thoughts on the whole Concord underperforming and Timesplitters outselling it? What are some other games that represent the very best the industry can offer? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.